Hello, everybody. This video is going to be about the three fundamentals of trading. I'm going to break down to the pillars that you need to understand to get good at trading. This video is going to take you from, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to buy, I don't even know how to even know what a winning trade is, to basically understanding what the fundamentals are. So when you're out there looking to trade, you will understand what to do. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna write this down so you guys can follow along. So in trading, guys, there is three fundamental pillars. One, two, three, right? And the first pillar is going to be strategy, which everybody knows about. If anything, anytime when it comes to the market and making money, you're going to want something that's going to consistently pull out wins and consistently help you not predict, but like kind of like have an idea of what's to happen, and stick by that rule so you can make a projected outcome. So the strategy, this is important because if you don't have a strategy, you have no chance of winning. So if everybody knows what a casino is, and you got to understand why a casino makes money. And yes, basically, um, the stock market is a casino, but there's still people that win in casinos and there's still people that win in the stock market. How do they do that? They do that with something that's called an edge. And an edge is something that you can do over a prolonged period of time that will allow you to become the winner or win long term. Nobody wins all the time besides the house, but there's some people who get away with having an edge, aka a strategy, that can help you to do so. So I'm gonna overlay the first three pillars, and then I'm gonna get back to breaking down what each pillar is. The next pillar is, I would say, the most important is risk management. Because even if you have the best strategy, if you bet it all on the one trade that you end up losing for the week, for the year, for the month, you can end back up at zero, and that's not what you want to have done. You want to do something completely different, which is risk manage any loss, any downsides you might have. And then the last pillar is psychology. They're all equally important, to be honest. If you're in a winning trade and you have great risk management, but your psychology is off, you're gonna turn it into a losing trade, or you're gonna take profits early, and then you can even start to fumble and lose even more profits. So let's go into the first pillar, which is strategy, which is actually my favorite. It's the one I got down the quickest, and it's actually, in my belief, the most simple. So there's different types of strategies that I will not get into this video, but you can understand, look it up in my next videos. Um, One popular strategies that I use is called a quantum flow. There's another one that's called silver bullet. Anybody that's ICT, they know what that is. And my personal favorites are gaps and inefficiencies. Spelled that completely wrong. Boom. So there's a few more, but these are like my most probable high return setup that I love to use. Quantum flow is an indicator that a profitable trader that's been trading for over 20 years created. And that link is in my bio if you guys want to take advantage of that. That has an above 70% win rate at recently, as of recent, because there's a lot of momentum in the market, has been around 80% win rate. So this right here, if you just follow this indicator, it takes care of the whole entire strategy. If you literally just didn't know what you're doing with trading, understood this, because you just followed that, you did risk management and you did psychology, you can be a very profitable trader in the next month. Silver bullet is another type of strategy. We won't get into that. Gaps and efficiencies, to me, are one of the best strategies because it has a high win rate. And yes, you're going to still need to know risk management. So these are different types of strategies. I'll even show you what the quantum flow indicator looks like. Let me take you to over here. Great. So this is a sneak preview of what a strategy looks like using an indicator. Um, Basically, if you see us go price. Price is what this is, right? So at market open at 9:30, price was here. 9:45, price was right here, right? So when you see the price of whatever asset or instrument or ETF or stock you're looking at, go above this line. This is what's called the NASDAQ. Whenever you see price go above this line, you're going to put in a buy order. So right here at 9:59, we got signal for a buy order. This is the strategy, and today was a winning strategy. Today is February 2nd. And if you got in at 10 a.m. and closed anywhere between 10 a.m. to 10:25 a.m., this trade was 25 minutes long, you'd be profitable. You'd be very profitable. And to give you an idea what that would look like, let's say I bought two contracts, that'd be $6,000 on the NASDAQ. And it's just like that. Some people are like, oh, how could you make that much money? Well, it's because you're risking about 1,500 bucks. So I risked $1,500 to make just around $6,000. So that is an example of one strategy that we use. And getting back to the next two pillars of trading is risk management. So you remember just now when I showed you and I said, actually, let me fix this for you, get you guys a better view. Wonderful. So remember just now when I just said I risked $1,500 to make $6,000. That's true. You have to know what your risk management setup is. So I usually like a 1 to 3. This morning it was a 1 to 4 because I risked 1,500 to make to make 6,000 point 1.4. I'm risk 1,500 to make 6,000 and a half. So that's like risking one to make, I don't know, 4.2, 4.5. I usually go for a 1 to 3, which means for that same chart I just showed you, I'd like to risk $1,000 to make $3,000. $3,000 in a day is a good day. So what does that look like? Let's say my account has 10,000. Let's say I could use any number, right? Let's say to make it easy math, let's say $10,000. Because if you have 1,000, same math, you just move the zero over, and if you have 100, same thing. $10,000 is how much I have in my account. Am I gonna risk the whole entire amount? Probably not. Not unless I'm looking to be very aggressive. So I would like to say if I have $10,000, I like to trade with, I don't know, 1,000 bucks. So let's say I have $1,000 of active trading money. I would look for a trade setup that's going to risk 1/3 of that. What does 1/3 mean? That means that I'm going to risk 100 bucks to make 300 bucks. Bam, boom. Going to risk 100 bucks to make 300 bucks. And that's with me having $1,000 account. $10,000 account, and I want to go maybe a little bit more aggressive. Let's look at what the same thing will give us. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Come over here, 3,000. Right? So this is what trading actually looks like when you're being smart and responsible. And this is per day, per trade. So if I have $10,000 in my account, I could risk $1,000 to make 3,000. If I have $1,000 in my account, I could risk 100 to make 300. The reason being is because you got to remember what this is over here. Over here, we said, and it's proven by back testing, that we have a 70% strategy, 70% win rate. I could even say 75. 70% win rate on these strategies right here. Following these strategies, you should have a 70% win rate. So that means that I'm projected to win. So actually make it, yeah, I'm projected to win uh 7 out of 10 times, 7 out of 10 trades, essentially. And are the 7 out of 10 trades going to happen straight back to back? No, not exactly. Is there a lot of variance that could happen? Yes, there is variance that could happen. But guess what? We have an edge. So we stick to our edge. We trade it all the way for 10 trades, and we most likely will remain or get profitable. Why or how do I know that? Let me break that down to you. Um, let's say I took 10 trades. Boom. Winning trade, lost, lost. lost. All right. I took three trades. Oh boy, I'm on a hot streak. I won three times in a row. What does that mean? Let's use $1,000 account. So if I won, that means that I won three times in a row. That means I made 3,000 plus 3,000 plus $3,000. Good job, Daquan. I'm killing it. That means after three trades, my account damn near doubles. um, it did like an 80% return, right? Within three successful trades. It doesn't mean you're trading every single day. That means whenever you see your setup or whenever your indicator says, hey, I suggest you take this action. If those first three trades are wins, you will get $9,000 off of risking $1,000 per trade. Wonderful, right? Now, here's where the human psychology part sets in. I had on one of my calls, somebody said, well, this has a 70% win rate. Why don't I just start betting more money? Why don't I just like break the system earlier on? The reason why is because after you win this amount, which is 9,000, and then that adds into your original 10,000, or for people down here, after you have 900 on top of your $1,000 amount, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have $1,900 or $19,000. And you can be like, hey, I'm the man. Now I can do what I want. And then guess what? If you start doing things like I'm just going to start over leveraging or not following my actual setup, you might risk $3,000 on a trade. And now your $3,000 is going to tackle the 1900, and then you're going to be left with 1600. And thus the slippery slope begins. Because now you're at 1600, you're like, man, I was just at, oh, I was almost at 20,000 of the day. Like, I got to make this happen quicker. And then you're going to mess up the entire system. Why? Because your psychology is going to be off. The best tip I've learned and heard is don't be attached to the numbers, be attached to the process, just like anything in life or any business, and things will remain true for you. Things will turn out better for you, right? So now you won the first three trades. You're up $9,000. Congratulations. You are starting to be consistent. The beautiful thing about following the system is because let's say you lose the next three trades, um, guess what happens? You actually were supposed to lose these next three trades because nothing's perfect. There's no perfect system. There's no anything like that. So after six trades, your all these trades that you lost are only equal up to one win. So over the long term, you're still winning, and that's what matters, right? That's what really matters. And after you do this, where you break even an amount of winning and lost trades, guess what happens now? Because your strategy is overall long-term profitable, you'll start winning again. And right where this drop off is where most people lose, this is why uh, um this is why not a lot of traders are overall profitable. Not because they're not smart, not because they're dumb, but because they actually have control of their greed and they're sticking to the plan. Those are the people that usually succeed at everything else in life, to be honest. So $3,000, $3,000, $3,000. When you stick to your strategy, there is payoff in the long term and short term. So that's what I suggest to do. The reason why this is great is because if you have a losing trade, even if your first trade's a loss, guess what? It only takes one trade to break above even on that last trade. If you have two losing trades, it still takes one trade to break above even on the last two losing trades. If you have three losing trades, your next trade, you break even, no need to change your psychology. The reason why I love this pillar right here is because it's self-evident, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You stick to these two and have these two like pillars in line, your psychology sets in stone and delivers itself. Not a lot of thinking to do. Psychology is maintain your greed. Don't try to rush things. Only trade when you see your setup, right? Only trade when you see these things in the market. And if you want a video like this breaking it down on what these other two um strategies are, let me know. But this is the setup you use to trade, and this is how you can become a very profitable trader. See you guys in the next one.